this is Trinesha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about even for me. So, what made me want to talk about even for me is earlier today I was in the office, which is why I got the pearls on. Usually it's church or the office is the reason for the pearls. I back in high school, like a little short story, I used to wear no, it was after high school, right when I was starting like some courses in college and when I was just taking courses here and there because believe it or not, I was going to study psychology back in the day. So I was like, oh, I'm going to be a psychologist because I really love helping people. And, with this overthinking mind of mine and just being over analytical, I just thought that was going to be like the thing. And so I would always go to school and I would have on like pearl earrings and I'd have like this camouflage hoodie that I would wear with like jeans or something. And I would have like some kind of shoes. Either I would have like I don't even know what kind of shoes I would wear. I just remember like the jeans and I had on this camouflage hoodie that was like and you're probably thinking like army camouflage. No, this was like I'm about to go hunting camouflage. And I would wear that with like my pearl earrings. And I just, every day that I had class, I was wearing that. Sometimes I would switch it up and I wear something different, but for the majority of the time, I would be wearing that. And so it was just like, I love that hoodie so much. I don't even know what I did with it, but I had that or I had like some kind of t-shirt or something, but I always had like these pearl earrings that I would wear every day and then I would have those on. And I don't know if I should tell you guys this because I don't want to be super judged, but I have a second hole and I have a cartilage. So I would always wear like a really tiny pearl like in the top cartilage hole. And then the second one would be like a little smaller and then the third one would be a little bigger. So I would wear those like on the way up or if I wore like the diamond studs because I really didn't like to wear like a lot of big jewelry. I would just wear really tiny jewelry because, it pulls on your ears and you see a lot of people with like that big slit and I never wanted that to happen. So I always wore like smaller jewelry and stuff like that. But I know people are like, I did not come here for that. And so I would just do that. And if I did the diamond thing, I would do like the big diamond with the smaller one and then the cartilage, or I would do like a little hoop there and then, straight on down. And so that's just the thing. And so anyways, I don't know why I felt like I needed to explain that, but it's already happened and I don't do a lot of editing. So I have done better. I've added like some things and you've seen like the channel kind of change a little bit and I like have a little intro going, that was made from like the system or whatever and then I got like the outro which was just part of an app. And so so I have been putting forth an effort because I really truly believe that God doesn't deserve the bare minimum. And he does way too much for me to be serving in my purpose and then to not put any effort in and just upload this video. Like I need to be doing something. I might not have all the time in the world, but anything that I could do to show God that, hey, or to show other people who are, trying to become Christian or whatever else that just because you are Christian does not mean that you're broke. Like I feel like we really have to get rid of that stigma that in order for you to believe in God, you have to be struggling all the time. Like that's not to say that you're not going to go through trials and tribulations or storms or whatever else it is in your life, but I truly don't believe that God intended us for any of his children to be of lack. If that was the case in the Bible, I don't believe it would say that God is the God of abundance. That wouldn't even need to be there if we were just gonna all be like super broke or at lack in needing things all the time. Like, do we need God? Absolutely, 100%. But do we need to look like we just can't afford lotion? Like, and we can't ever prosper or be wealthy or have a wealth of knowledge or a wealth of things or become prosperous or an abundance of things in our life. No, I totally don't believe that. I think that's just a stereotypical perspective of someone that just had hard times and just said, this is because of blah. Like, I don't think there are a lot of people who are Christian. And I hear people say, like, they're so happy for all of these other people. And when they see a Christian, they're like, oh, it must be nice. Or they're doing this, this, and this. Like, it's always got to be like a second agenda with it. But I truly believe that God never intended for us to be at lack of anything. It's really our own personal doing of what makes us at lack of anything. When we decide to worry, or when we decide to take things into our own hands, or when we decide to do things that are not for our best interest, when God told us that we should have never been at that place in the first place, then I think that is the thing that holds us back. I don't think it has anything to do with what God has for us at all. Because the God that I serve is a God of abundance. So that's just my perspective. I mean, I really hope that more Christians come out and just say that they are like prosperous. And you don't have to have like racks on packs on stacks of dough or anything like that, like, or money, or like, just be so wealthy that it's ridiculous. I'm not saying that you can or can't be super wealthy. I'm just saying that sometimes it looks like peace. Sometimes it looks like the joy that you have in your life, that most people can't even think of that type of unspeakable joy, but God gave it to you. Sometimes it looks like all of the blessings that you have. And no, you don't have to go bragging or being boastful. But I also don't believe that you have to go like constantly saying how much you're at lack of all of these things, because if you don't know, the power of the tongue is super powerful. So don't even think about speaking that over your life if that's not what you intend to have. I truly believe that God gave us this weapon so that we can call on him when we need him. We can ask for more things, because the Bible says you have not because you ask not. So I'm not going to be that person that's like, oh no, no, God, like, don't bless me anymore. Like, I'm okay with every blessing, everything that God has for my life. I'm ready and willing to receive it. I'm not about to be greedy. I'm not going to ask for things that, it's just ridiculous. I'm going to ask for things that I truly desire. And if God says no, he says no because he knows that's not good for me, or he has better for me. I'm not just going to be like, oh, I really wish God could help me with paying this blah. And then God gives me $100 to pay that bill, and I splurge and spend it on something else. And then I'm like, God, I really need you. Like, God sent you the $100. Spend the $100 on the bills. Like, stop doing the most. Things like that. And so that really just makes me think about, like, when I'm using the power of the tongue, I'm trying to speak life into other people and myself. I'm trying to ask for things so that I'm asking for the things I want. I'm not just sitting there like, oh, I wish I really could have. If God is saying stay somewhere because he's teaching me something, that's something different. But if God is saying, hey, this ain't for you, then all right, I guess I gotta get my bags and stuff and we just out. We out here. Like, no, I'm not about to stay and put up with no nonsense in any situation, no matter how much money it makes. Like, I can't just settle for anything. And I know sometimes it's hard because that money looks real good, but you deserve way better and to be respected. And sometimes, all the time, there's no amount of money that's worth your dignity and your respect for yourself at all. Like, there's nothing, no amount that I can think of that would make me feel okay with being disrespected or treated poorly or dishonored or whatever else. And so I truly feel like we need to be mindful, mindful of everything we're doing, intentional of with our life, making sure that we are doing things intentionally. If we want something, we're going for it with the blessing of God. We are really walking by faith and not by sight. We are really doing the things that we need to do. And every time you say you can't, think of two cans. Think of all the other things that you have already done, that God has already done for you. You didn't think that could happen either. And look at you now. I'm just saying. And so, like, when I think of even for me, I was listening to this sermon earlier and I cannot remember everything. I'm hoping God puts it in my spirit and I can remember so I can just verbalize and I can. Mm, 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 mm. Every time it's like something going on with my eyes, or like at the beginning when I first started doing these videos, it was like, I'm like, and losing my voice and everything. I'm like, one day I'm not going to cry in these videos. I'm not going to have like to clear my throat. My eyelashes are not going to be tickling my eye. Like, I'm just going to be together. And that day will come one day. But yeah, it's just, oof. But I'm listening to the sermon earlier, and the pastor is talking about how, God just wants to do all of these things in our life, and how he has so many different things for us, and we are the ones that really, really truly need to be able to walk into that, whatever it is that God has for us. And I start having a moment with God, while I'm on the way to work, and I'm just like, God, I could see this for everybody else, but I just can't see it for me. And I know people that don't watch this, I'm super transparent. Like, I don't have it all together. I make a bunch of mistakes, not intentionally, but I do. I'm not perfect at all. Like, I mess up every single day, but I'm always willing to learn from it and try to do better. Like, that's really all I can do. And I just focus on God. That's it. So, when you see me say something and people are like, oh, why would she say that? She's got to pretend like she's perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. So, that's just me being honest. And also, so I'm having this moment with God, and I'm just like, I could see all of these hopeful things for other people. I just can't see it for myself. And it's so funny because I did a video yesterday talking about, a few people that I know of, or like my friends. And I was saying how they say they want to do these things, and I'm just like, do it. Like, there's nothing stopping you from being able to do it. You are the only thing standing in your way. I could see my friend starting that podcast and really just changing people's lives, because her her voice is just like so like distinct. Like, most people on podcasts or like on like shows or whatever, and it's like, I know whose voice that is. Like, you could tell a person by their voice. Like, that's how her voice is. Like, it's unique. So she should do a podcast. And then, like, she's super passionate, she's smart, she's intelligent, and when she really gets into her mind about something, when something is really important to her, she will do whatever it takes to make sure that other people know that they're okay. You know? And she's super strong. Like, even when we're talking, sometimes we have to like be a little vulnerable. So we'll both be like, okay, we're super strong. We're going to do this. We can do this all alone. And we're like, no, girl, I got your back. Like, you don't have to worry about, just relax. Just let it go. It's going to be fine. Like, you don't have to be strong in this moment. Like, I'm your friend for a reason. So, so it's okay to be a little vulnerable. It's okay to just like, you know, not to weaken yourself, but it's okay to just be open and to be transparent. And you don't have to always have it. Like, it's okay. Sometimes we don't have it. And that's why we got each other's back. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, we just have those type of conversations. And so she's that type of person. So imagine her in a podcast just talking about all this stuff and just speaking life into people, and just really, like, she is so real. Like, she's the type of friend that you'll be like, girl, this happened. She'd be like, when are we pulling up? And she's so serious. And I'm like, more like, okay, I'm gonna just try to find a common ground because I need to be the peacemaker, and she's just like, what day, what time? Because I'm about that life, and I'm just like, I know you are, but we're not doing that today, okay? Like, just chill, just be cool. But yeah, she's really about that life. And so, like, her personality would just be so cool on a podcast, and she should really, really do it. And so, like, I feel that way about everybody else. Like, I see people in healthy relationships and happy relationships, and I'm so happy for them, and I'm praying for them. I see people like be in their purpose, and I'm just so happy for them. I see people like who have these dreams or visions or this purpose on their life, and I'm just like, you need to do this. Like, this is what you're here for. This is what you should be doing. Like, I can really see it for them. And God set me so straight. Like, this how real God is with me, right? God was like, you see this for everybody else but yourself. That's exactly my reaction. I was just like, you said it, and I felt it down here, but like, whew, you cut me deep, God. You cut me deep. Like, goodness gracious. But I had to hear it like that because if God would have said it in like a sweet way, I wouldn't have heard it. If he would have said it super loud, I wouldn't have heard it. He said it exactly the way that I needed to receive the message. And it's so true because I really was thinking about all this potential for all these other people, what other people deserve, how I want people to not settle, how I want people to have better in their life. And for me, I just felt like I don't know if it's possible for my life. You know, like I know I want to be happy. I know God can do the impossible. Like for him doing it for me would be impossible. I mean, it wouldn't be impossible for him. I would just think like I would be like a rare person. And I was about to say rare breed, but I am not trying to start singing that song. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But but yeah, I just really feel like for everybody else, I could see them, end up happy. I'm happy by myself, but I mean happy in a relationship. I could see them happy in a relationship. I could see them doing these things in their life, and I'm in my purpose and I'm doing things, but I'm not going jumping into it. Like there's something that's making me walk into it with caution and not just jumping into it the way that God would intend for me to put all of my effort into it, to actually be in it the way that God wants me to be in it. And I don't know what is so scary about it. I don't know what it is that makes me feel like I just haven't pushed forward. Like I've done things. I've constantly been faithful. I've constantly been doing the things and obedient to the things that God wants me to do. But I feel like there's more I could do. I feel like I feel like there's more because whenever I feel in my life like I have a moment where I'm like, it just feels like it's nothing to do. That means there's more in me. That means I'm not pushing myself to my full potential. That means there's something that I could be doing that I'm not doing. Remember when, I don't know if you know or if you watched my previous video, but a long time ago, I was talking about how when I got rid of the toxic relationship, I had all this energy for all of these things in my life. I just felt like, where did all this time come from? How did I have all this time to pour into my purpose, to pour into other people, to do all of these things, to try new things, and like all of this energy, all of this stuff that I was pouring into somebody else, I could use for myself, and it was amazing. And now I'm feeling like I'm doing stuff in my life, but I feel like I'm not doing everything that I can be doing. And God is saying even for me, even for me, I could end up. I'm really trying to not cry in one of these videos. But God is saying even for me, I can end up in a healthy, happy relationship. And I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but he's saying even for me. Even for me, I could be in my purpose. Even for me, I could go full force into my purpose and do something that I love every single day. God is saying even for me, I could walk by faith and not by sight and put all of my trust in him, and he will take care of everything else. Even for me, I could have the life that I dreamed of. But the only thing stopping me is me. I feel like that's what a lot of us do. We are holding ourselves back from our true potential. We're holding ourselves back from the purpose that God put on our heart because we feel like it's impossible. But nothing is impossible with God. God can do exceedingly and abundantly above all else. I know I always say that, but it's just always just fits right in every time I'm saying something because it's true. And no weapon formed against us can prosper, no matter who tries to stop you. I was at work today and I really had a moment where I was thinking over my life and I was thinking about all the things that I'm doing, and I really I s- I really just took in the moment. And a part of me wanted to just be like, well, like as soon as a negative thought was starting to enter my mind, I was like, not today. And then there was even something that happened that made me feel a little guilty, but I didn't do anything or say anything to anybody else. It was just a thought in my mind. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And before I could like beat myself up, I felt God and I felt like, no, not today. Like, not today. uh-uh. Not today. And so I really started speaking life into myself. I really started turning the whole situation around and just thinking of all of these positive things. Every time something negative was trying to enter my mind or make me feel guilty, I could feel myself just all of this energy, all of this inspiration just started to flood me out of nowhere. It was probably because of God, because I was like, God, it just seems like I don't know if I can do it without you. That's what I said earlier. I was just like, I don't know if I'm strong enough. And God said, you're stronger than what you think you are. Like, I didn't bring you through all of this so that you could be weak. Yes, you're the weaker vessel, but you will never be weak. You will always have a strength inside of you because of everything that you've been through. Everything that you're going through, everything that you've been through, everything that you will go through in the future will build something in you that will strengthen you for your purpose. It will strengthen you for the future. And you have to go through that because if not, you will be weak. And so I was writing some notes because, oh yeah, and then the pastor's message, it was called Flip It or something like that. And so he was saying that, you know, whenever something bad happens in your life, you need to flip it. So he said God can flip it. So instead of it being something negative or instead of you thinking, this horrible thing happened, like a breakup or something, then next thing you know, God flipped it and used it for your purpose. Next thing you know, you're the type of person who's speaking life into all those people who are going through the same situation that you went through. The next thing you know, you got a whole business and brand behind your breakup. Like, only God could do that. And so it's just, we really need to know that there is nothing that God can't use for the glory of the kingdom. There's nothing that God can't use to benefit our future. Everything that we're going through, even though it seems pointless, even though we don't know why, God always has a better purpose, something better for us. It's so it's so crazy because when you want something or when something in your life happens and you're just like, there's no way this could happen. Why are you speaking that over yourself? There is a way that it can happen. God, did you forget God was there? That's what I really feel like we need to start telling ourselves. Did you forget that God was there? You're saying there's no way you can make $1 million. Did you forget God was there? God didn't say that you would not be a millionaire. I'm not saying that every person is going to be a millionaire. You could. Who's saying that you can't be? But are you going to be a good steward of $1 million? Or are you going to squander it on something that's frivolous? You're saying, oh, I could never own my own business. God didn't say that you couldn't do that. When did he ever say that? Did he ever say that you was going to be at lack of anything? No, he did not. So why is it that you're telling yourself all of these things that aren't possible when God is the God of abundance? When God can do exceedingly and abundantly above all else? When he is a God that can make anything happen? Why is it that you're doubting yourself if you know that you have God in your corner? Why is it that you don't think that you deserve to be in a healthy relationship if God is in your corner? Why is it that you believe that you don't get to live the life of your dreams? Every day that you spend not living out your dream is a day that's wasted, or living out your purpose is a day that's wasted because you could be pouring into someone else. You could be serving, you could be doing something that's helping benefit the world, that's helping benefit the kingdom. God did not say that you have to live a miserable life for the rest of your life. What is it that truly brings you joy? What is it that you enjoy doing that really makes you feel free, makes you feel like it comes easy to you? It's something that doesn't take a lot for you to be able to do it. But you just think this is just this is just something I do. But God is saying, no, it's not just something you do. It's a gift that I placed on you. It's your purpose that I placed within you. You are the only person that sees it as something small. You're the only person who doesn't see the potential of your own gift and your own dreams and your own purpose, while everyone else around you can see that you are the type of person that can make it happen, that God is the type of person that can make it happen for you. That's why you have haters. The haters believe in you more than you believe in yourself. They're the ones saying, oh, she thinks she all that. You are all that because God's in your life. You see that smile that you have? Oh, look at her being all happy and she got to go to work. Yes, I get to go to work. I got a job and some people can't find a job. Some people can't. There was a thing that I was about to really complain about earlier today. I'm just being real. I was about to complain and say, oh, I can't go to this thing because I have to. And before I could finish the sentence, God put on my spirit, I get to. I get to do this. This is something other people would love to be able to do. And I'm doing it right now. This is something that I prayed for 10 years ago, and I'm living the life that I prayed for. This is something that some people, some women, some single parents like me don't even get to be in this position because they're worried about how they're going to be able to do a lot of the things that I get to do every single day. And I was about to say out of my mouth, I almost fixed my lips to say something that was super ungrateful. For what? When I'm blessed. I'm blessed beyond measure. Like I'm blessed beyond anything I could ever even dream of. The things that I have in my life, I literally prayed for. You prayed for this moment in your life. The things that you're going through right now are just temporary. It's only temporary to build you because a breaking had to occur to strengthen you, to strengthen that thing within you that the adversary was trying to keep from you for all of your life. The pastor said something in the message that said, what is the thing that it seems like the adversary is always trying to to make you think differently about or trying to stop in your life? He's like, that's your purpose. And when he said it, I just had this revelation. This, I really felt it in my spirit. Like, you know, that moment when you just realize that you know what your purpose is, but you forgot what your purpose is because God had to do some things on the inside of you. And then you were reminded again, this is your purpose. That's the moment that I had earlier today. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about how I'm talking about vulnerability and cynicism and how I'm always thinking like this can't happen for me, or you know, I just had this wall up and I just always wanted to be away from people. But people is the thing that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be speaking life into people. I'm supposed to be the type of woman who God can use for a purpose such as this. I'm supposed to be building relationships with different people because blessings come through people. Messages come from people. So why would the adversary? So obviously, the adversary would try to use people to make me feel like I need to have a barrier against people because in order for me to get that relationship, I'm going to have to be with a person. In order for me to get the blessing, it's going to come from a person. In order for me to build business relationships, in order for me to build personal relationships, it's going to come from people. So why wouldn't the adversary try to stop any type of relationship that I could possibly build with any person if it wasn't my purpose? That's exactly how he's doing in your life. What is that thing that it just seems like from childhood the adversary's been trying to weaken you in that area because he knew that you were going to be a threat. He knew from the moment that you were born that there was a problem in the earth. He knew that there was going to have to be so much spiritual warfare to try to stop you from helping people because you might be the thing that changes the trajectory of the world, that changes generations to come. You might be the thing that changes the future, changes the entire world, and he can't have that. Why would he ever? Sometimes I would be like, oh my gosh, it just feels like it's thing after thing after thing. Like it's something going on or something always trying to stop me or like to break me. But not things breaking off of me. Something trying to break that thing on the inside of me that God put there that pushes me towards my purpose, that allows me to be passionate about the things that God put on my heart for me to do. And every time I get close, every time I get super focused, it's that thing that steps in that tries to distract me. He sends so many distractions, so many different people to try to make me feel like I can't be vulnerable with other people, to make me feel like I can't trust certain people, to make me feel like I can't speak life into people because this one person didn't appreciate it. Not that that's happened, but I've met certain people who they they really are like, "Oh, you do this?" And it's like, "Yes, this is what God put on my heart to do. Like, why wouldn't I do this?" Or whatever. And we are really the only thing stopping us from doing the things that God put on our heart to do. You know that thing that you've always felt like you were always drawn to it. Like when I was a kid, I always wanted to help people. I know I sound so corny. But when I was like 5, 6 years old, all I wanted to do was help people. That's it. Like that was my thing. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had like 6 different things that I thought I was gonna be. I wanted to be an astronomer, a psychologist. I wanted to be a interpreter, uh, I can't remember what the other things were, but it was like, oh, a fashion designer, a fashion model, and something else. I can't remember what the sixth thing was, but it was all of these things I imagined myself doing. But I was like, no matter what I'm doing, I want to be helping people. And I knew, like, even when I would do things or be certain places, I always wanted to be compassionate for other people, and the compassionateness within me cost me some things when I was younger because the adversary knew that I would have to be compassionate in doing this because I can't be hard and then try to expect someone to be able to vent to me or to seek me for help, or to look to me to give them advice or to be able to listen to what it is that they have to say with a compassionate ear without being judgmental. When I got a little bit older and it was just like some other things were happening to me in my life, it was just like I could feel the adversary trying to make me feel less confident, trying to trying to stop this joy that I felt on the inside of me. He really tried to crush my spirit and make me feel like I just needed to be an introvert and just quiet and stick to myself. I couldn't speak up for myself. He's been trying to quiet my voice since before I could even remember because he knew that the power of my tongue was so powerful. He knew that I was going to be speaking life into people, that I would be the type of person that could change generations, that I could be the type of person who would be so passionate. This passion that I have is from all that breaking that the adversary tried to use to break me. But God used it to break some things off of me that the adversary tried to use to hold me back. But he will never be able to stop what God put in my heart. There will be a hedge of protection around me as long as God wants me here on this earth because God has me here for a reason. And he has you here for a reason as well. There's not a guy, a person, a place, a thing that will ever stop me seeking God first and being in my purpose. Nothing. I don't care how many mean people I meet. I don't care how many people tell me they don't like my voice or they don't like the way I do blah, or like if there's constructive criticism, of course, I'll listen to that from a loving place. But I don't care about anybody's opinion but God's. No matter what the adversary tries to throw my way, I'm always going to seek God and ask him for help because I'm not ashamed to do that anymore. I'm not ashamed of the person that I am. I love people. I love talking to people. I love hearing people out. It's so funny because since I've like grown into this new person and been on the self-love journey and healing and everything else, when people meet me, they divulge everything to me. They just start talking to me. Like they just feel so comfortable. Just it's so funny because I had this one person call me and they were just like, "Oh, I'm gonna just call you." And I said, "Okay, you can call me." So they called me, and an hour later, we're still on the phone, and they just had so much they had to get off of their chest, so much that they wanted to talk about that they were going through. And they're like, "I don't even know how we got here." I'm just like, it's really a gift. Like it's a real gift that God has given me for real because I'll meet guys, and not saying in a romantic or any other way, in any way that I meet a guy, and he will literally talk like he's been waiting his whole life to talk, and everybody's been doesn't care about what he has to say, and he's like, this is a moment that I actually like someone's actually listening to me, and I really am listening to everybody. Like because I care about what people think or about themselves. I care about what's going on in their life. I care about them as a person, and I care about their well-being. I want them to be heard. I know how it feels for somebody to make you feel like your voice doesn't matter. And I don't want any person who ever encounters me in life to ever feel like they're not being heard, to feel like they can't communicate with me, to feel like they can't express themselves or talk about something that bothers them or say what's going on in their life. I want every person to feel comfortable enough to do that. So I was listening to this, like, I do like different videos and stuff. So I did a therapy session last week, and my therapist sent me this list of like videos and stuff on like um, dealing with anxiety or dealing with like different things in life and ways to like decompress or to get rid of stress or anxiousness or whatever else it is that you're going through. It's like different methods that really help you like stay calm and focused and centered and things like that. And so one of the videos was about cognitive dissonance, and it talked about how a lot of the times it's like, oh, I just gained so much weight. It's usually something like that, but it's not always something that could be used negatively. Sometimes you saying, "Oh, I really would like to lose weight," is like a encouragement for you to exercise well and eat healthy well. It's really just depends on your perspective on things and how you want to walk into whatever it is that you're trying to change. Now, it could be used negatively as well, like maybe you have an unhealthy eating habit or something else, but you could always change something negative and turn it into something positive. You could always use something, like if someone has constructive criticism, instead of you thinking, "Oh, this person is just a hater," you could think, "Oh, you know what? That really is a good idea. Maybe instead of me, talking all over the place, maybe I just have bullet points and I talk in this way." I'm not saying that this is what I should do. I'm just saying in general, it could be something that's really helpful. Like maybe drinking some water during the video or tea will help. So that way you don't have to constantly clear your throat every video. And I'd be like, "Oh, okay, thank you. I'll actually take that into consideration and I might start doing that." Like that could be helpful. Things like that are things that things that I think that will be really, really cool. And so I don't want to make this go too long. So I'm just going to say in conclusion, unless I feel something in my spirit. But, and I also wanted you to think about what is the thing that you see hope for in someone else that you don't see in yourself? While you're thinking about all these things that your ex could do, or all of these things that this person that you know can do, or your friends or your family members, and you're like, "Man, this person would be so good at this. Why don't they just do that?" Like, you got that one family member who has this gift and they just don't want to do it for some reason. And it comes so easy to them, they don't even realize it's a gift. You are the person in the family. You are the person in the family who doesn't realize that you're gifted, that you really have a purpose that God is giving you, and you're not stepping into it because you're the only person who doesn't see it. You're the only person who doesn't believe in yourself. Your haters believe in you. Your family members, your friends believe in you and see this in you. This is why when you go to do something and you're good at it, or you win something, or you like start doing something and it's successful, you're like, "Oh, I just did that for fun." And you got this person over here hating on you, and you're like, "Why are they hating? This is something everybody does." No, it is not. Don't you ever downplay your gift and something that God put on only you to be able to do and the way that you do it as nothing. Because I feel like us speaking small on something that's big is one of the things that stops us in our tracks from pursuing our purpose, from pursuing our destiny. We can't be in our destiny if we're doubtful. We can't be in our destiny if we have all of these negative things that we're thinking about ourselves. If we're using cognitive dissonance for bad instead of using it to push us forward, to propel us into our purpose. We need to be able to think about what it is that we truly want to do in our lives. Make a list, like literally, this is not me. I got this from this book. It's called The Law of Assumption. Some people know about it, some people don't. It's really where you take the idea of what your day to day life would look like your dream life. This is your dream life. What would it look like? What would you wear? How would you talk? What would you be doing? And throughout the whole day, you're writing down all of the things that you would do, the house you would live in, the type of clothes you would wear, the type of tea you would drink, or whatever else. And it's called the law of assumption. It's where you say things that you want for your life and it actualizes. So one of the further steps is writing down everything, like step by step, day by day, or whatever, like your day to day life, what it would look like. Like me saying I have a healthy, godly relationship. Like I don't have that yet, but me even just putting it out there is about to happen because God heard me say, God, and God said, huh? And I'm like, yes. So this is this is what I'm saying. But I don't want anything prematurely. God, take your precious time. Like for real. Anytime I know a day to you is like 1,000 years, and we know I'm not gonna be here 1,000 years. I'm just saying, like, please don't give me anything before it's time because I want to be completely ready. I want to be in a position where I am so comfortable with myself, with being single, with doing the things that I love to do. I got oof, God, I just asked for this. This is really how I be with God. Like, I know I just asked for this, but God, can you allow me to I want to do like a couple more classes and then like go on one vacation by myself, maybe two. And then like, can you make it happen right after that? I just want to enjoy the single season as much as possible. I don't want to rush anything, but God, you know when I'm ready. So whenever you think I'm ready, like even if I'm with that person, but I'm still going on this trip by myself, that would be fine as well. Like I just don't want anything prematurely. I want everything to be exactly the way that you intended it to be. I don't want it to be the way I want it at all. Because we know it could turn into a hot mess real fast. And we don't need that in the future. And so just really seek God. Seek what it is that God wants for you. Focus on Him and believe in yourself. Because really, I know I say this all the time, but you are the only thing stopping you from being able to live your dream life, from you being able to live in your purpose and live your destiny. You are the only one standing in your way. Everybody else can see it but you. Everybody can see it but you. People talking about, oh my gosh, you're so good at this. And you're like, I do okay at it. No, you're good at it. Claim it. Stop negating all of the positive things that people are saying to you. Take a compliment. You are going to have to get comfortable getting complimented because it's about to happen more often. Like, just be in that. Allow all of the blessings and the things that God has blessed you with or He's gifted you with to be the thing that you just grab a hold of, and you acknowledge the fact that you have that gift, that you have that purpose, and stop thinking that because you say it in reality it's going to be gone or it's nothing. It's something. Some people can't even do that. Some people can't even think about doing that, and you could do it. So let's stop downing ourselves. Let's stop not taking compliments or trying to downplay what it is that we do very well, like my writing. I'm not saying like I'm one of the best writers or anything like that, but writing is something that always came easy to me. Like creating something out of nothing and just putting pen to paper and just writing and writing is something I love to do. It's something I do for fun. It's just something that really clears my mind. It allows me to get my thoughts onto paper. It just it really refocuses me. I feel so calm in it. I just feel like this is me, and I always loved doing it. And like I would write papers in school. It would be a 5-page paper due the next day. And I would literally in 30 minutes write a 5-page paper because I just love writing. And I just thought it was just because procrastination pushed me to do it. I didn't know I was good at it. I made all these excuses for why I thought I couldn't be good at it, why it wasn't a gift, why it wasn't something that God purposed me with or allowed me to be able to have. I made so many excuses for why this wasn't something that was a gift. Like when people would say, what's the thing that you do so easily that comes so natural and you don't even think it's a gift? I didn't even think about writing being one of the things. It wasn't until one day I listened to a sermon and then I thought and I said, oh my gosh, it's writing. writing is that thing. Like, it's like I had one of those moments where it's like everybody around you is looking at you like it took you long enough. Like, really? How could you not have known that? But seriously, I had no idea. It was like, it's like that. I know I'm gonna say this and people are gonna be like, really a relationship example again. But anyways, it's like that one guy in school or a girl in school who really, really likes you a lot. And everybody in your family knows that that person likes you except for you. Like, that's how I felt with this writing thing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like really? And so, yes, accept your blessings. Do not feel like you need to be ashamed because you're blessed. Don't feel like you need to downplay it. Like there might be other people around who aren't receiving your blessing, but God is still blessing them. Both of y'all woke up today. So they're blessed as well. Their blessings just look a little bit different. You don't have to downplay the blessings that you have. And if you feel like you need to hide great things from somebody that's in your life, they probably don't need to be in your circle. They probably need to be orbiting the circle or something. Like you need to make sure that people in your life are people that are happy for you. People who are your A1 day, not A1 day ones, because sometimes those people have to go. But they're people who will be honest with you, speak life into you. Those are people who, no matter if it's a good thing or a bad thing, they will be there for you. They don't just have a whole bunch of gossip to tell you. They don't have a whole bunch of negative things they just want to say or do or try to keep you down. They are really seeking the best for you. Like those are the type of people that you need to have on your A team. My A team, I know I said I wasn't going to talk that much and then I started talking some more. But my A team consists of some friends who is like they really about that life. Like they'll be honest with me in the most loving way. And that's exactly what I need. Like I'll be getting ready to do something and they're like, I'm down for you. And if we got to be about it, we're about to do it. But this is what I'm thinking that that you need to do. Like let's just not do that at this moment because this is what I'm really thinking. And I'm like, you know what, you're right because we really don't need to do that. Or they'll be like, if nope, not today, and I'm just like, okay, not today. Or there'll be people who are like, you done wrote a book and everything, but you can't tell when somebody like you. Like I have people like that in my life, and I'm like, it's so true. Like I really am so oblivious to some of the things that are happening around me. It's not because I don't pay attention; it's because I'm focused. And so all of those frivolous things or things that aren't at the forefront of my mind, they just kind of escape me. And so it's not that I'm just not being smart about it or I'm not trying to be intentional with my life. I'm being intentional with certain things, so I just don't notice some of those things at all. And it's not that I'm trying to be disrespectful or rude to any person. It's just I really just don't notice. And it's nothing against any of the people at all. It's just I don't know, like I feel like I just was so focused in on the whole relationship thing for almost my entire life. And so when I finally was single, it was just like, okay, I need to focus in on this stuff because this stuff, sorry, I had to swallow. So this stuff just so this stuff just just came to the forefront. It just ended up being like I really knew that this is something that I really had to put my all into. I wanted to make sure that I needed to make up for all the years that I neglected all of the things that I really truly wanted to do in my life. And so I just it's not that I'm not focused on that. It's just that I know I got a lot of catching up to do. I know there's things that God wants me to do in my life, and I don't want to get distracted at all. If there's something that God wants me to have in my life, I feel like God will be like, pay attention. And then I'll be like, okay, God, all right, I see that, but other than that, I don't notice at all. And it's not that I don't want to notice. It's just that I just really have a lot of making up to do. I really have to right all my wrongs. And so, yes, just focus on God. Make sure that you know that the gift that God is giving you is nothing small. And ask Him for stuff that you want. Don't be ungrateful. Appreciate all the things that you have. And really just ask and you shall receive. You have not because you ask not. So you need to be asking for things. If you know that this is this is your purpose, this is what God wants you to do, and He's telling you to go do it, then you need to do it. Don't procrastinate. Don't think about all the other things. I mean, it's coming directly from God. I don't mean you want to do it. And so you decided this is how your life is going to go. I mean, God really put on your heart that this is what you need to be doing. You really discern with God that this is what He wants for your life. And that's with everything, person, place, thing, everything. Just focus on Him and know that all of those good things that you see other people have or do needs to be motivation for you. Not just, oh, I'm happy for them and that's it. Like, no, God sometimes is showing you those things because He wants to show you so that it can inspire you, so that you can see that it can happen even for you.